This filthy man had such a strong body that no matter how many wives he took, he never felt tired. So, every night, he would worry, is there really no woman in this world? Who can satisfy me? Then, a winged rat appeared. The rat said it had extracted the most beautiful parts from many women's bodies and pieced them together to create a stunning woman. If the man wanted to have her, he would have to play a game of chess. If he won, he could take the woman. But if he lost, he would have to give up his most valuable possession. The man, full of desire, didn't hesitate and agreed. He was willing to offer his own body as a wager. But soon after the game began, the man realized he was going to lose. He quickly ran home, thinking he could escape. However, when he woke up the next day, he found that he only had a head left. He was a high-ranking minister, but due to this incident, he ended up like this. If the emperor found out, he would definitely be executed. But now, he could still eat and drink. Young Master Mark didn't want to deal with such a person, but the man's power was great. So Mark reluctantly brought Porter to find the rat spirit, and promised to wager his own magical power to exchange the minister's body. They would decide the game rules, which Mark would determine. The rat spirit agreed to the proposal, and set the duel for 3 days later. Porter looked at where the rat spirit was hiding, and said that he had passed by there before, and heard beautiful flute music. Since he was familiar with music, he played a duet with the rat spirit. It was this small incident that made Mark realize something. Back home, he began training his skills, but no matter what, Porter just couldn't seem to learn. He couldn't even win against his own subordinates. Porter didn't understand Mark's plan. Even though Mark agreed to the wager, Porter had to participate, while Mark just kept reading books, searching for information as if he was certain he would win the game. The day of the match arrived, and the three of them stood on the roof, waiting. Porter's skills had improved a lot, but just then, Mark changed the game rules. Porter cursed Mark internally, thinking Mark was messing with him, but the rat spirit didn't care at all, because it had many talents it had stolen, including the very talents Mark planned to use in the match. The rat spirit was confident in this duel. Mark looked at the rat spirit's smug expression, and turned to Porter to say something. Then they began their game. The rat spirit's skills were incredibly powerful, and soon it overpowered Porter, throwing him to the ground. Of course, in the end, the rat spirit won. When the rat spirit demanded Mark's magical power, it turned out that Mark had other plans for the wager. He wasn't interested in winning the rat spirit's talents. He wanted to take the rat spirit's flute. Earlier, when Porter played the duet, he had been playing with the rat spirit. The flute music was the rat spirit's secret weapon. But at that time, the rat spirit didn't harm Porter, which showed how important the flute was to it. When the rat spirit met someone who shared the same passion, it treasured the person even more. The rat spirit used to be human. His parents had spent all their money sending him to school, and he finally passed the exams. But because he couldn't afford to bribe the court officials, they teamed up to ruin his career. After that, he could only stand outside the city gates, playing the flute, hoping to make people understand his grievances. But he couldn't fight against the power of the authorities, and he didn't even have money to return home. A few days later, he received news that his mother had died, and it was pouring rain in the heavens. Totally desperate, he made a decision. He wanted more talents. He eventually became a demon, hiding in the capital, stealing the talents of high-ranking officials. After hearing all this, Porter immediately picked up his flute and played. The rat spirit froze when it heard the beautiful music. It had finally found a